Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Another grand jury declines to prosecute a police officer who killed an African-American. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. And a viewer warning, we are going to show you some graphic video of the confrontation. On July 17th, New York City police confronted 43-year-old Eric Garner in Staten Island. Garner, a low-level street dealer of illegal cigarettes, was not happy to see the police.
Everybody standing here, they told me I didn't do nothing. I did not sell nothing. Because every time you see me, you want to harass me, you want to stop me, trying to sell cigarettes. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time, please just leave me alone.
The officers wanted to place handcuffs on Mr. Garner, and the officers were initially cautious. But when they moved in, the worst happened.
Hold on. Don't touch me, please.
Came over.
Do not touch me. Damn, man.
All right, stop. Give your hands, buddy. Put your hand behind your back.
I can't breathe.
Mr. Garner died at a hospital a short time later. The medical examiner calling his death a homicide, thus the grand jury. Mr. Garner had a record, mostly non-violent offenses, was out on bail at the time of the confrontation. New York City police policy is that chokeholds are not allowed. And Mayor Bill de Blasio is clearly on the side of the Garner family. We'll get to that situation, which is volatile, in a next segment. Now, the officer who used the hold, Daniel Pantaleo, was called before a grand jury and testified for 2 hours. He's now free and clear of any local and state charges, but the feds say they will investigate the case. Talking Points does not know what happened. And until we read the grand jury transcripts, which are sealed right now, nobody can know. But that does not stop some agitators from stirring up controversy. However, I will say that upon seeing the video that you just saw, and hearing Mr. Garner say he could not breathe, I was extremely troubled. I would have loosened my grip. I desperately wish the officer would have done that. Eric Garner was obese. He had asthma. He was in no condition to absorb what befell him. Yes, he should not have resisted, but all Americans, every one of us, should pity Mr. Garner and his family. He did not deserve what happened to him. And I think Officer Pantaleo and every other American police officer, every one, would agree with me. He didn't deserve that. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction, joining us from Los Angeles, commentator Tavis Smiley. Is my assessment of the situation fair, first of all?
I didn't know what to expect when I came on tonight, Bill, but I am pleased to hear you say some of what you had to say. But the bottom line for me is when you suggest earlier that we don't know what happened. No, you weren't there and I wasn't there, but that video camera is abundantly clear to anyone who will watch it what happened that day. And what we have here is, as you've already noted, an illegal chokehold caught on tape. The coroner says that this is a homicide. End of story. There is no way in my mind or anybody else's mind, I believe, that's looking at this for what it is, that we can justify a no indictment from this grand jury. It just doesn't add up, Bill.
All right, let me play devil's advocate. First of all, the chokehold is not illegal. It's against department policy. It's not illegal.
That's illegal. That's illegal.
Against department policy is not a criminal offense. It's a disciplinary action.
You're splitting hairs.
No.
It was wrong for him to have done it.
Let me explain.
Right.
The officer was docketed. He lost his shield. He lost his gun. When you violate New York City department policy, that is what happens to you. You're not prosecuted. Now, the prosecutor in Staten Island took it a step further because the medical examiner rightly said it was a homicide because the man died in a violent confrontation. So the grand jury sits, as many as 25. It's far more than Ferguson. And you've got to get 12 grand jurors in New York State to say, yes, there should be an indictment. They said no. I'm with you that I saw what happened, and it was very troubling. I don't think the police officer meant to kill Mr. Garner. I don't think he went in with that. He meant to stop him from resisting arrest. Are you with me so far? Do you agree so far?
I disagree in the sense that the grand jury saw evidence, and I don't know what they saw in addition to what we saw, but there's no way, Bill, you could look at that videotape and come back with a no indictment, period. We can go all around the block here. When you're applying something that's against department policy, it's caught on tape. The coroner once again says it's a homicide. How do you come back with no indictment? Here's my point. This grand jury system is becoming a fraud. Prosecutors now, because they want to act like this was done under due process, they turn to these grand juries. These grand juries continue to turn back these to send out these no indictments, and the value of black life in this country continues every day to have less and less respect. That's the bottom line.
I want to hear from the grand jury. And the prosecutor over there, the DA in Staten Island, is trying to get the transcripts released. They're sealed right now under law, and I think he will. I think the public's going to have to see the rationale behind it. I suspect it has something to do with the man resisting arrest and the police officers trying to get him under control, and that the grand jurors believe that they were not doing it in a malicious way. The intent wasn't what the outcome was. Bill, honestly, let me ask you, my friend, does it really matter that he didn't intend to kill him? Does it really matter that it wasn't done maliciously? It does matter as far as charges are concerned. Look, Bill, what matters is that he violated department policy. We saw it on tape. The coroner, I repeat for the third time, said it's a homicide. There's certainly explanations have to be made. Now, I think this would have happened to a white guy doing the same thing. I don't think it had to do with skin color. I think it had to do with poor judgments made by the group of police officers.
But here's the problem. That what you've just offered now is speculation.
It is.
Let me put on the table the fact.
But the other way is speculation too.
On the table, though. No, it's not, Bill. Bill, hold up. It's not. What you're offering is speculation. What I'm putting on the table for America to see, what America does in fact see every day, are the facts. The facts are that Trayvon Martin was not speculation. Michael Brown was not speculation. Renisha McBride is not speculation. Sean Bell is not speculation. Eric Garner is not speculation.
All right, let me stop you there.
These are facts, and black life is being, there's no respect for the humanity and the dignity of black life in this country,
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Tavis.
Sure.
You know how many blacks were killed by police by gunfire last year? In 2012.
I do not know that number. No,
the number is 100 and 123. Do you know how many whites were killed? 326. There are 43 million plus black Americans. 123 were killed by police gunfire. And the Garner thing is most of those police deaths are gunfire, not the other. So there isn't an epidemic of this. I mean, it's not. But when it happens, it's extremely troubling. I could be wrong. I think respectfully, I think you are wrong. There's a pattern here, and you are too smart and too bright. It's a minuscule pattern. With 123 opposed to 43 million is minuscule.
Bill, tell the parents of these precious young children that it's minuscule.
To life.
If it were Bill, if it were your child, you would not call this minuscule, Bill. That's disrespectful, my friend.
It's not minuscule.
That's disrespectful.
You're taking my remarks out of context. It's not minuscule that the man died.
I'm telling you, it's not minuscule.
The amount of police shootings are minuscule, and more whites,
do you not
3
see,
to 1
Bill,
are killed than blacks.
Let me ask you, Bill, do you not see in the era of the first black president, I might add, do you not, for those who thought we were going to live in a post-racial America because he got elected, which was nonsense then, obviously nonsense today, do you not see a pattern here where black life is being devalued?
I don't, because the statistics don't say there's a pattern. Once again, 123 deaths out of 43 million plus is minuscule. Every death is a tragedy. I'm with you.
Exactly.
3 times as many whites are shot dead by police than blacks. I don't think it's hunting down blacks.
Bill, there are more white folk in this country clearly than there are blacks.
Absolutely.
Although not for too much longer. But I think there's a message here tonight that most Americans see, that it's open season, hunting season on black men.
All right. I disagree, but I respectfully disagree. And you're a stand-up guy for coming on in. Tavis's book, Death of a King, about Martin Luther King, is available everywhere. Next on The Rundown.